Raiders turning point this week, John, because
Do you
they
think it's
play.
a little weird? Do you think it's a little weird that it already flipped? The Bengals are now favorite. That they were they were a 1 point favorite. Then on a couple days ago, then I saw yesterday it was a pick 'em, and then when we've talked today, the line has flown 2 points. That's not Haberman and Middlekauff just betting. Right? That's people are.
We haven't bet that game.
But I'm just saying, like that's to get a 2 point line movement with no player, quarterback out. That's people are betting big money on the Bengals moving the line.
Yeah. And it's, I think it kind of illustrates that the Raiders are in a tenuous position right now. We talked about them after the Chiefs game. The dreams of the AFC West this year are over for them.
Done.
Now it's about hanging on for dear life and making the playoffs, where at this moment in time, they are not in at 5-4. And it's a good AFC. Guess who else is a part of that battle at 5-4? Cincinnati. So now you're talking about being 5-5 and having that head-to-head loss. Guess who else is 5-5? Indy. Guess who else is 5-5? Cleveland. Those are not playoff teams. The AFC is much more difficult to make the playoffs this year than the NFC is. Much.
I think they're not as good at the top, but they're like 5 through 9 feel a little bit stronger than the NFC.
I would say they have all 7 other teams. To me, could be the one. Feel like at different points in time now the Chargers haven't been great, right? Pittsburgh tied the Lions last week, so I shouldn't say that about them. But feels like Kansas City hasn't really gotten going, and they're the 4 seed. And as you pointed out to me, the Raiders, this is going to come quick for them because they play Cincinnati this week, and then they turn around and play on Thursday on Thanksgiving.
In what game?
The Lions game.
No, not the Lions game.
Oh, not the Lions game. The Cowboys game.
Wouldn't you say that's the marquee game that feels like most people are watching around their house? The Cowboy game.
Well, judging by the NFL ratings that I saw the other day, yes, I think a Cowboys game has been like one of the top. I think 6 Cowboys games are among the top 10 TV shows this year.
Well, to me, that's in its own category. You're going to be a heavy underdog. I saw the line was already like 7 on that game. But the one thing the Raiders have, starting with this game, is they play. We talked a lot about the Niners that don't really play those teams they're fighting for beside Minnesota. The Raiders play the Bengals, they play the Browns, and they play the Colts. Like they play those 3 teams. And so if the 7th spot is 9 or 10 wins, assuming that the Raiders can still get there, like they're going to have a chance to control their own destiny. But listen, I'm not trying to be coach cliche bullshit. If you can't win this game, I'm sorry, guy, I am completely out because it can snowball. And I saw Derek had some comments because let's face it, the last 2 years, I forget the exact records. I think 2 years ago they might have been 6-3. Last year, I think they were 7-4. Like they've had, not just like 5-4. Like they were several games above 500 in November and did not get over 500. Like it's hard if you're 6-3 to not end up at 9-7, and they have not been able to do that. He claimed that he thought this team, when he talked yesterday on Wednesday, he's like, usually after shit hits the fan, I get here early, kind of propping himself up, on like a Tuesday to do some extra work. No one else would be there. He's like, this time around, a lot of people were there grinding. He's like, I feel the energy in here. Now, I do think maybe they're trying hard. They might just run out of gas. I think the Ruggs situation just might have derailed them. But let's face it, guy. We talked a lot about you and I, and rightfully so. Derek's going to get himself a huge contract. They have no choice. And listen, maybe he still inevitably does, but they missed the playoffs again, and he plays like he has the last couple weeks, which, let's face it, not very good. He was atrocious in the Giants game.
Yeah.
The Chiefs game, he's just, if you have a $35, $40 million quarterback in a huge game, I need a better performance out of that. And he's kind of like, they need some like, hey, guys, I'm not just the team captain. I'm the guy that they're about to give $150 million to. He kind of needs to, down the stretch, have some of those 3-4 touchdown games if it's even possible. But if he doesn't dominate and play at a Pro Bowl level, they have no fucking shot. Do you agree with that? No, none. They're not good enough as a team.
Pro Bowl level, not all pro level. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, have several games where he's throwing like 3 or 4 touchdowns, or just balling in the game.
Yeah, I think the other thing is he is. Crosby's been phenomenal. Like
their pass rush is good. Him and Yannick are good.
But I think Derek also, in a lot of ways, controls the pulse of the team. And when they're rolling on offense, like things feel really good. I think it's hard once you've been punched in the gut to get that back. And I told you this the other day after the Giants game. I I absolve them of that performance. I really do because I thought the Ruggs situation was, a total black cloud over that, and I think it might affect. I think it might end their season. That situation. Now Gruden's a part of it too. Like, say what you want about John Gruden, he was making $10 million a year, or I guess it wasn't technically, but he got $100 million contract. Other people were trying to hire him too, and he does. He's a good football. Like, he's not a joke of a football coach, right? We might think he's not a great GM. He's not their football coach anymore. But for all of Rich Bisaccia's qualities, like, John Gruden had experience as a head football coach through many, many years, calling plays, running a locker room, all of that stuff. Maybe Rich has all the qualities necessary too, and time will show that. But they did lose something when they lost their head coach. And they got a little boost. It's like, oh, we're loose around here. Okay. But then they go through another situation that is traumatizing and requires leadership. And now it's not smooth sailing without John Gruden. Like, Rich Bisaccia didn't just have to, like, take control of the wheel. Here we go, guys. Let's take. Gruden's gone. Interim coach has to handle the Ruggs thing now. Like, that is, to me,
that would have been crazy for Gruden. That would have been crazy for Andy Reid, Belichick.
So it's a lot. I think it's a lot. And it's why 3 weeks ago, whatever it was, you asked me, is this team making the playoffs? I said, hell yes, they are. Last week, you asked me, are they making the playoffs? I said, no. I think this Ruggs thing is just going to take them out. Now,
it could. If they lose this game, guy, it could all of a sudden they've lost because they lose the Cowboys. You're talking about a 4-game losing streak and them spiraling to, like, draft in the top 10.
Now, if they win, if they beat Cincinnati somehow, then maybe they can find something. They just need something to go right for them.
Well, I'll tell you, guy, don't they just need if their quarterback can just outplay Joe Burrow, which, if you're going to make him a $35 million a year guy, and honestly, that might be low, right? I just wrote down 35, like, based on the numbers, quarterbacks 40. You can't be getting your quarterback can't get outplayed every week. So, like, some of this pressure, like, yeah, all that shit was crazy. I wouldn't wish that upon. It's really impossible, tough to handle, because it impacted Derek. The only thing that didn't necessarily was Arnett. He lost his coach, his offensive coordinator. He lost his deep threat, ascending. I wouldn't call him. I mean, who knows where his career went, but up and coming star, potentially wide receiver. Those are two direct impacts on Derek. Well, we gave him a lot of credit for handling the situation, being the leader. And I get it. Like, it's a difficult spot to compartmentalize. Did you see the story? I think when you get in trouble like that, they make you do, like, mandatory breathalyzers maybe every day. And Ruggs missed one, and the judge it's like, its situation is just I can't even imagine living there. And I'm not, who knows? These guys watch, like, basic television, right? They're not just watching the local news, but it'd just be out there, right? Your girlfriend says something, your friend that's living with you says something, just your teammate. Like, did you read that news story on Henry? It's just, it's still there. Like, it's in their backyard. It's probably one of the biggest sports stories in town, just the Henry Ruggs situation, right? And I don't know, man. I don't have much faith that he can. Not because I don't think he's talented enough. It just feels like it's a little overwhelming, and he's missing his guy. But if he wants to survive this season as a team and, like, have a chance to what we thought was a lock a couple weeks ago, guy, they need a huge performance out of him just this week. And let's say they were to get their ass kicked. Like, let's just say they lost by 10 and kind of shoved around. I mean, I bet by the time kickoff on Thursday, 10-point underdog? If they were to lose this game, like 30-17 or something.
What do the Cowboys do this week?
Even win or lose, if the Cowboys just look good against Kansas City.
If there's some shootout game.
Yeah.
Which it feels like it could be.
But couldn't it get really ugly? Like, you come off a loss, and then you're playing the Cowboys, and they're really good, and all of a sudden it's like you just see the Raiders implosion on Turkey Day while you're eating, like, drinking a Tito's and having some stuffing.
Did the Raiders play on Thanksgiving?
They have before.
Year? Was it last year?
I feel it was a couple years ago. I don't remember Gruden on Thanksgiving off the top of my head, but it could be wrong.
Would not have been at Atlanta last year.
A couple years ago, I won the DraftKings money, and Amari had a huge day on Thanksgiving. It might have been like 2018 when Gruden traded him to the Cowboys. I guess that could have been 17, 18, 19, 20. No, it would have been 18. I don't think the Raiders have played on Thanksgiving in a long time.
I thought it happened a couple of years ago, but I can't. My schedule's not loading.
I think that's a tough spot for him, that Thursday night game against the Cowboys. I mean, there's going to be 25 million people watching.
Yeah, they have not yet shown that they can be a team when their back's against the wall and the bright lights consistently show up.
Well, I'd say historically that's not really been Derek's strong suit. Not
And
even
now
just the team. Just him.
I mean, like, say again, I'll go back to like Gruden helped him. He became a better quarterback after John Gruden showed up. Agreed?
Yes.
So he lost that.
He became back to what he had been. He had been a good quarterback
Gruden
in the
got him
NFL,
back,
lost
yes.
it, got it back.
Yes. So he lost that, and then he lost Ruggs. Like it's.
Are you still confident that he's like a lock scholarship guy for this team for the next 5-6 years? Feels like there's a lot of moving parts.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still pretty confident about it, but new management, who knows?
But if you like hired Doug Peterson, let's just say Doug Peterson takes over.
Yeah, I think
Doug wouldn't want to coach him. Why wouldn't he?
I think he's their quarterback for a while.
But they would have to. But they would have to give him a huge new contract, right? I guess you could give him like a 3 for 100 or something.
He literally has said he doesn't want to play anywhere else. So, do you?
Could you give him like a 2 for 50 extension?
Or do you lock him in for years and it's just an amount of money that is big for one human being, but is not big for quarterbacks, right? Like, you give him 5 for just like 125.
And guaranteed 80?
Hell, guarantee all of it. Who cares? It's $25 million a year for your quarterback.
Well, he's a tradable player then, even though he said he'd quit.
No trade clause. Does NFL do that?
Yeah, could you get him like 4 for 100 with a no trade clause? That would be a pretty smart deal. Because you would.
For the of course, it'd be a smart deal. I mean, for who? Like how? I'm being serious though. Like, what does his loyalty really get them from a monetary standpoint?
I think two things depend on Derek: how this season goes, how he plays. Because he's been really poor the last 2 games, beside like 2 series against the Chiefs, which Deshaun kind of screwed him. But it was just 2 series on the whole game. He was bad. Does he keep playing like that? And then who the next coach is? Like Mark could just detonate this place, right? I get a new GM, a new coach. Did you see when Eli asked Draymond, he's like, what's the meanest thing you could say to Peyton? And Draymond, you could tell, was like, I don't really want to say it. And he's like, Peyton, the Colts cut you. Or like, you were, whatever. He just took a jet. I was like, damn. The way he said it, though, was like good shit talk. So if Peyton Manning can get cut, if Tom Brady can leave in free agency, like I'm just sorry, like anything can happen in pro sports, right? So Derek can say he wants to stay, and it makes sense on paper, like where are they going to find a new quarterback? But we see it all the time, like people.
Yeah, I know.
He's not winning unless he wins this game and gets him back into playoff contention.
I know, but there's so many. I mean, it's also very easy to make a list of reasons why he's not winning that don't involve him.
There aren't many quarterbacks that get to play 9 or 10 years with 1 playoff appearance. It'd be like Kyle if he coached 8 years for the Niners and made
no, but I mean, there aren't many quarterbacks that play 9 years, and I would bet based on the number of coaches he's had,
no, I know.
I mean, it's his career is just pretty unique based on the instability of the franchise.
That's why I would recommend get the fuck out of there.
I know we recommended that a while ago, but he doesn't want to do that. So
no, he's very loyal.